Yo, yo, yo. Hey, guys, welcome back to another awesome edition of the Best Practices Show podcast. My name is Kirk Behrendt, where my job here is to find the best thinkers, teachers, speakers in all of dentistry and have them share some insight to help you create a better practice and a better life. And today I bring on one of my favorite of all time, Dr. Uche Odiatu. And he takes us through the top 10 myths around health and fitness. Please listen to this. I know you'll love it, and we'll see you soon. Hey guys, welcome back to the Best Practices Show podcast. You know what's so fun? I just get to hang around with the coolest people in dentistry that are super, super smart. And every time I talk to them, and hopefully you're listening to them, my life gets better. And today's guest does that for me every time. It's Dr. Uche Odiatu. Uche, what's up, brother?
It's all good. I'm excited to be back on again. I love sharing my passion with my colleagues. So such a good time to talk about this topic. Like, it's such a good time, but let's get rolling. I love your enthusiasm. I fan your flames.
Well, you're an incredible, not only you're a good person, good friend. I enjoy you. I love what you're all about. I love how you help people. And I have family members that watch the Uche episodes because they're like, wow, I don't know anything about dentistry, but man, he makes my life better. And you guys will see that as you're listening. But Uche, give us a little bio because I got a lot of new listeners and I always want them to know who you are. So who's Uche?
Okay, I am many things. I have many slashes. You know, I'm a human. I'm Canadian. Was born in England. Grew up in Canada. I've been a dentist for over 25 years. Co-authored 2 books. I'm still practicing. I work 4 days this week. I lecture. I've lectured over 500 times in 7 countries since 2004. I've done about 400 TV and radio interviews as an invited expert on health and wellness from ABC 2020, believe it or not, to Alaska, to Florida, to Seattle. So I love sharing. It's what I do. I do it chairside. I do it in person. I do it on podcasts like yours. This is me. It's my essential Uche.
Yeah, Uche, you're the best. And if you haven't seen Uche speak, you got to see Uche speak. Today, we're going to be dispelling some rumors and myth busting around fitness. And we got quite a few of them. So I think this is really cool because there are a lot of things that you just point to the truth and break through these. And I'm going to go through them one by one because you gave me a whole list, which I love. But one of them is, and the first one is either go hard or go home. True or false?
Yeah, that's false. You see, I don't. The hard driving, overachieving, perpetually advancing dentist or dental professional loves going 150%. We brag about how being busy, busy, busy. However, when you look at fitness and health, busy, 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 and going 110% doesn't win the race. It doesn't even win it if you're training for the World Cup or training for the Olympics. You have to periodize your training. You see, slow and steady wins the health and fitness race. And I love the analogy of Warren Buffett. He talks about, people ask him about Bitcoin and puts and calls. He goes, you buy good companies that you understand. You hold on. I think I sound like Obama.
You do. Hey, I love it. You sound really good.
I was trying to do my Warren Buffett one. But you buy good companies that you understand, and you hang on to them. And that was it. That was his how to be a billionaire advice. So dentists love the quick fix. We like, 24 hours, Bitcoin, Ethereum. What do you think? Buy stuff you understand. I remember a patient of mine, very well-to-do financial advisor, lives in one of the best parts of town in Toronto. And I said, can you tell me about Bitcoin? He goes, I don't understand Bitcoin. He's a multimillionaire, but I advise people on iron ore. He goes, I understand iron ore. It's made my clients rich and it's made me rich. I'm like, cool. So I think sometimes we think all or nothing works. And meanwhile, slow and steady consistency wins the race.
Yeah, and just give people a little perspective. You travel and you're in excellent shape. You're not working out 6 hours a day in the gym. You're down there for how long on average when you go to the gym?
In a hotel gym, I may be always less than 30 minutes. Always less than 30 minutes. I was in Fargo just a little while ago. I was doing a study club down there, and it was 9:50 at night. I hadn't trained yet. I was in planes all day. Spent 4 hours in the Air Hero Lounge, and I thought, I got to walk my talk. So went down to the gym. Didn't have any sneakers. I wore black dress shoes, jeans. Luckily, I had a rolled up little tank top. And I did 25 minutes. I got 9 exercises. And I supersetted them back and forth for 25 minutes. Got my heart rate up. I did chest, back, shoulders, arms, and legs. And I left. It's that quick. And I didn't go full hard. There was no one to spot me. But I wanted just to be able to walk my talk the next day. Because it's really hard to talk truth about wellness when oneself isn't talking the truth. It's like listening to a homeless guy talk about real estate, or a guy who's been married, 7 times, talking about how to keep a marriage together. So I think it's important to walk it. So under 25, 30 minutes is me on the road. I've never trained more than 30 minutes on the road.
That's awesome. We're going to do a whole session on what happens in those 25, 30 minutes. Now, myth number 2, or maybe I should present these as true or false. You need a trainer to get in shape.
No, you don't need a trainer. It's if you think of it this way, I think obviously as dentists, we like to take patients, we try to coach them, we guide them. However, fitness you can literally do on your own. I started all this, my whole weight training, and there was back in I was 14 years of age. There was no internet. All I had was these magazines, these muscle and fitness magazines. I cut out articles, cut a bunch of encyclopedia books on weight training. Cut these things. Again, I'm in grade 9. I'm not a dentist now. And I thought this makes sense. That makes sense. And I put a little program together. And then when I went to the gym, I thought, I'm going to sit on the bike and watch experts. So I watched the experts go around the gym. I saw a guy walking by with no legs, like really skinny little chicken legs. And I thought, I'm not going to follow that guy's workout. And then I saw another person training and screaming like, bloody murder as he worked out. And I'm thinking, don't scream bloody murder when you work out. And I just basically, to talk about success leaves clues, I just looked at people who look like they're doing a good job, incorporated that into mine. Again, grade 9. And I've done many things. I've competed in bodybuilding, powerlifting, endurance races, never having a coach. But I've been crazy consistent for over 40 years now. So I think you only need a trainer if you really start with no base, or you have an injury, or you have a medical condition. But otherwise, on your own, a simple walking program is better than nothing. A simple walking program. So.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think the discipline of just going is more important than what somebody tells you. Now, we've all heard this one. Number 3, the myth, supplements are the key part of your diet. What do you think about supplements?
Yeah, it's 10th on my list. Really important. We think of the number 1 human need, oxygen. You can't go more than 60 seconds without oxygen. There's a new book called Breath by James Nestor. Have you heard of James Nestor? So he says, number 1, you think the love of your life is important, but some people live a lifetime without love. You can't go more than 60 seconds without oxygen. You can go 2 days without sleep, but oxygen, 60 seconds. So oxygen is number 1. Obviously, water, can't go more than 4 days without water. Good sleep is important. And whole food, nothing takes the place of whole food. When you think of the ingredients in an apple, there's no ingredients, just like apple, and we start looking at supplements and the sweeteners and the stabilizers and the emulsifiers and the preservatives. They actually do us more harm many times because our microbiome, the 42 trillion cells that call you and me home, have been on this planet for hundreds of millions of years. They don't know artificial sweeteners. They don't know soybean oil. All they know is, or citric acid. All they know is, this is odd. Bacteria are very ephemeral, very fragile. They're meant to spoil and go. The average bacteria in our bodies lives anywhere from 20 minutes to a couple of hours. They come and go. But the reason why they stay the same for you and I is because we eat the same thing every day. So the whole idea being is supplements, again, down here, because food, our bacteria, which don't have a brain, but they have a consciousness.
Yeah.
They understand an apple. They understand fiber. They understand omega-3s in fish. So I would spend all my time actually looking more for whole, good quality food. And if you can, organic, certified organic, hormone-free meat, raised cattle raised with antibiotics, if you can. But that's the way to go. Supplements at the bottom of the chain. Wintertime in Canada, obviously the days get short where you are too. So vitamin D is important. But again, you can get vitamin D in the sun by sitting outside, having your sunroof open, driving down the highway, or in egg yolks, or in seafood. So you can do a lot without any supplements. And again, supplements are very not a very regulated product. You know, the FDA and the Health Canada, their thing is as long as it doesn't kill anyone, you can actually put anything you want on the label, as long as you're not claiming to cure disease. So life extension, beautifying, natural skin, lots of promises. But so food is number one. Food is number one for me.
Yeah, and you've always taught me about gut health. And I think the point here is that we put a lot of faith in these pills that are supposed to compensate for the other things that we're not doing. So I can drink a lot of beer if I take these supplements or maybe not eat as well. But when you start eating well, you just feel better. It's just amazing. Now, the probiotic thing, I mean, it's always good to add a few things that might be helpful, but I love what you're saying. I love what you're saying. Now, number 4, I've made this mistake. Like, I thought that jogging is all you need to get in shape. I mean, there was times where I was just jogging constantly, and then my knees hurt, and my back hurt, and my hips. But break that myth for us. Is jogging all you need?
Well, jogging grew in popularity around the 70s. I think the first New York Marathon only had maybe less than 100 people in. Now it has thousands of people in. So it's definitely a popular pastime, and it can get you in shape. But for most people, it's very time intensive. It's a labor, very hard on your joints. You know, the fact is, the average woman now in 2023 weighs what the average man did in 1980. So the average woman now weighed what the average man did in 1980. So, and we're getting heavier. So we're getting since 1989, we've actually gained about 25 pounds, men and women each, on average. So when you're that heavy, plodding along, in $200 sneakers, which are often people hitting the ground on their heel. People jog instead of on grass, like we were designed for millions of years. We jog on asphalt so we can face the traffic and show them how hard we're working. If you're jogging in a field, great. Running in grass is perfect. Jogging in the asphalt, facing traffic, looking like you swallowed a lemon, it's really not the way to go. But Martin Gabala, kinesiologist out of McMaster University, who's known as the godfather of interval training, said if you want to get fit fast, which most dentists like things fast, right? People don't brag about, I can do a crown in 3 days, right? I can do a crown in 7 hours. So I can jog for 4 hours. But if I can get you fit fast, I'm talking as little as 7 minutes equals to an hour. Interval training is the quickest way to get fit. And this is the new science of interval training. Not for everyone. You got to have a certain level of stamina. But certainly a way to go, because we're time starved. You're a busy dad. You're lecturing. You're writing yourself. Like, unless you retire, even when you retire, Kurt, you're probably going to be busy. So I think getting fit fast very efficiently is the way to go. So how do you stay in shape? You mentioned you jogged. What happened with the jogging thing?
So I did all the triathlons, and then I bought a Peloton. But I'll tell you, you have helped me quite a bit. So I've kind of narrowed it down to a couple things. I do the Peloton in the morning, so I'll do 30 or 45 minutes. Then I do some type of functional training, like some core or weights, because I always like to do that. But the fasting thing has changed my life. So I don't really eat during the day. And the first 3 weeks I hated it. And now I'm not hungry till 5. And what it does is it consciously makes me make good decisions around 5. So I'm going to go home tonight, and I'm not looking for a cheeseburger. Last night I had a Cobb salad. And I actually felt really good. You've also helped me understand we don't need the caloric intake that we thought we did. I thought I need a bunch of calories for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then I also have these big things you taught me about the probiotics, so kombucha. So I've got the kombucha that I get and I have them in the big thing. So I'll have quite a few glasses of those. And it just satisfies the carbonation. It satisfies the need. I found kombucha tastes better than wine sometimes. Now we could have a whole debate on that, but that's a typical day for me. So I usually eat once a day. And have Laura snack. She's got a whole big jar of 6 different jars of nuts, and one of them is espresso beans. But I'll take a handful of almonds as I leave here and drive home if I'm starving. So long-winded answer. But you've helped me with all that. And we always have apples. We always have apples, the skin of the apples. And of course, you told me to do that. So
There's many hacks to do, and I think sometimes we make it more difficult than not. But I think what you've done is mastered it. Obviously, you look good. I bet you your joints aren't as sore as when you're doing all the triathlon. Triathlon is great as a personal achievement, and it's a nice trophy to say you do. But when they study triathlon and endurance racers who work out a lot in the summer, they talk a lot about intestinal lining wear and perforation. And I've heard this saying that marathons are often won in the porta toilet, and people just exploding bowels. So if my bowels are exploding during a workout, that might not be the workout that's getting me in shape. So here we are with exploding bowels, and I'm wondering how come I'm not in shape. So I think dentistry is intense. We're sympathetically driven creatures. And a lot of disease is from being kept too much in the sympathetic dominance area. Sympathetic dominance is freeze, fight, or flight. So the more time anyone spends in that zone, the more likely you're going to be out of balance and welcome chronic disease. Just like you can go hard, but you can't go hard for a summer, a year, 10 years. The body just wasn't made. You need rest and digest as well as going for it. So that whole periodizing training and being a little bit easier on your body is more of a long haul factor.
yeah. Now I got to ask you about number 5, the 5th myth here. And this one applies specifically to me. And you've helped me with this is it gets harder as you get older to get in shape. Break that myth for us.
Yeah, that's false, actually. Believe it or not, when you're young, young people actually think they're going to live forever. You'd be surprised how many young dentists go, I have forever to do ergonomics. I got forever to take care of my back. Reflux, I'll take a medicine for that. I'll do that when I'm older. They think they have so much time, they never actually make time to do it. And sometimes when you know you don't have forever, that you make a decision to take more important, instead of majoring in minor things, major in the importance of health. I think as people get older, you'll see people seeing the value in health. Because you see patients come in at 70, 80, 90 that look good and feel good and don't look and feel good. So that imperative desire to take care of this body is more pressing as we get older. But the physiology behind it, though, is if someone's never exercised their whole life, and a lot of dentists are like that, because, I'm a nerd. I didn't do any team sports growing up. I was more of an individual guy, whether it was golf or yoga or strength training. And what happened was the more you don't participate in those kind of sports, the more your knees and hips are fine at 50. I don't know how many of our friends, and I love my college friends, my high school friends playing football and hockey, knees jammed, hip replacement, shoulder replacement, meniscus tears, ACL, necks jammed, shoulders jammed, rotator cuff problems, and that's age 40. When you're that beaten up, what's going to happen between 40 and 80? It's not going to be pretty. No matter how many offices you own, no matter how many anti-inflammatories you take, and no matter how much money you have, you really got to, this body is not just a carcass that's supposed to take you from plan A to point B. So the whole idea is you push it hard, you have less left over for that second half of life. And people always think second half, I'm 39. Well, guess what? If the average age of life expectancy is 80, right? 40 and over is the second half. So it's like you and I are in the second half.
We are. Wait, go back to this one. You didn't mention it today, but you told me in a previous podcast, your muscles don't know how old they are,
Yeah. This is beautiful to know. And it's the whole idea is, it's just like when you're moving quickly and if you close your eyes, you can actually remember being a kid running with your coat unzipped and running. You see, the muscle is just an empty tissue. They don't have a mind of their own. All they know is youth, which is movement, and all they know is accelerated aging and disease by sitting still. And the challenge is 70% of our waking time is spent sitting. So think of your receptionist and your office manager and why we must incorporate standing desks when you enter an office, how you have more energy when you greet people standing than sitting. Just like you wouldn't shake someone's hand sitting down. Why are we greeting people sitting down? You wouldn't do it at a dinner or an important function. So there's nothing about sitting that helps you have more blood supply and oxygen to your brain. So I really believe, though, that the more you move, the more youthful you feel. So people say, Uche, you look so young, you do this. I said, I never want to act my age. People often say, Uche, can I ask you a question? Can I ask how old you are? Mm-hmm. Why? All it does is make people angry, Right. So hey, I said, but you could have exactly like I have if you start moving a bit more, going to bed a bit earlier, wear a sleep mask, do certain things every day, and the body follows suit. You cannot help but get to California if you follow the map to California. You will not end up in Alaska. You cannot help look and feel younger if you follow the map to looking and feel younger. It's just not possible. So people say, I've tried everything. I'm still 100 pounds overweight. Well, you haven't tried everything.
Right.
There's things that work every time, and it works every time. It's like nuts and bolts when it comes to fitness, but we make it too hard by trying esoteric, weird things. Heard about the Uche? Have you heard about the caterpillar diet? No. Heard about the cotton ball diet? You swallow cotton balls, it makes you feel full. Haven't heard about that one.
Yeah.
So slow and steady wins the race. Look at fundamentals, like the best coaches, right? Wooden, Madden,
Yeah, they'll stick to it.
Pat Riley.
Absolutely. So let me give you number 6. LeBron James is genetically gifted for fitness. He looks amazing at his age. And so I shouldn't even bother. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, that's false too. I think sometimes you think, oh, I naturally have wide hips, or I have narrow shoulders, or naturally I don't have good cardio, or all the men in my family died of heart disease. I'm just going to follow suit. Well, genetics loads your gun. Lifestyle pulls the trigger. So even though LeBron James might be genetically gifted, he's 6'9". He's one of the top 2 scoring basketball players of all time. Like, you think about 100 years of basketball out of, the 900 players in the NBA. Think about all the years basketball's going on. He's one of the top 2 scorers of all time, and he's 38.
And his assists, too. We got to talk about his assists. I mean, he's an incredible assist leader.
And he's serious. He's incredible. However, he spends almost $200,000 to $300,000 a year on his personal fitness. If you're genetically gifted, you shouldn't have to spend any money, right? Steak and eggs before the game, stay out all night. No, cupping, acupuncture, homeopathy. He said sleep is his secret weapon. There's not many dentists who say sleep is a secret weapon. They just say my iTero is my secret weapon, or my Cerac is, which is fine. Those are important devices. But why can't sleep be your secret weapon? He said it's where I process emotion and process memory. I memorize plays better and get to the ball easier. But also, he goes, I can handle my emotions. I can stay still in the eye of the storm. Well, most dentists could spend more time because you're most able to tap into your gifts when you're calm. When you're irritated, annoyed, and you can't find your loops, guess what? You're useless. You can't tap into left and right brain or past wisdom. So LeBron James seems cool and calm. Sure, there's exceptions. But genetically gifted, he still dots his I's and crosses his T's.
Yeah, I love it. Myth number 7, carbs are bad.
I don't know how many people talk about, I'm on a diet, I'm not eating carbs. And I say, don't eat apples? Oh, no, I eat apples. Do you eat salads? Oh, I eat salads. I said carbs, and the carbs are apples and salads. Oh, no, I don't mean those carbs. So carbs have got a bad reputation. Like, I love carbs. I live for carbs. Fruit, at least 2 a day. Salad, once a day. Vegetables, 2-3 servings every day. Whole grains, I'm not celiac, so I can do whole grains. Quality whole grains. Sourdough bread, Ezekiel bread. I love carbs. Flat stomach, you can see the squares. I don't have the 6-pack I had when I was in my, about 10 years ago, or actually 3 years ago. But only because I've loosened up a bit, because you can't go hard all the time, right? So I wax and wane when it comes to intensity. But I still eat lots of carbs. I enjoy food. But carbs isn't the enemy. Volume is the enemy. Not knowing serving size. The wrong carbs, white rice without any fat and protein on it. So I'm going to have some rice on a plate. Guess what? I'm going to put some salmon on it. I'm going to put some olive oil on the rice. Put some vegetables. So the glycemic index spike is so large. If I'm going to eat a lot of carbs, I'll do it after the workout, when my metabolism is revved up for 16, 17, 18 hours after. So timing is everything. I don't eat carbs within 2 hours of bedtime. This is really good for anyone who wants to experience more growth and recovery and growth hormone. So 2 hours before bedtime, no food.
Yeah.
So 2 hours before bedtime, no food. And the body then can spend all this time resting and recovering instead of digesting food.
Yeah, I love it. So a good friend of ours, Mike Buckner, was wearing a ring one day, and I'm like, is that the Aura ring? So I've had it now for 3 months. It is life-changing. He told me it was going to be life-changing. And what you're saying is absolutely true. So it gives you way too much data on your sleep every night. And it'll say your sleep score was low last night. And I'm like, no way, I got 7 hours of sleep. And then it says, did you eat before you went to bed? And did you have any alcohol? And I'm like, yes. And it shows you that your heart rate, your body works hard when you eat late. And you have maybe an extra glass of wine. So you can see the impact. You're exactly right. It's when you eat. And I'm the person that I need the proof. So the data, if you're thinking about getting the Aura ring, just get it, because it is amazing. It tells you get too much information. So good stuff.
Like it.
Yeah. Now, number 8, the fat thing. Come on, man. All fat is bad. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they proved that wrong so many times. Fat was considered toxic in the 80s. Remember, we had big plates of pasta and muffins, and we demonized fat. Or maybe one egg a week. Many doctors said, oh, you're going to have one egg a week because of the cholesterol. Well, now we've realized that in 2007 and 2017, lots of good studies, Harvard, the Lancet, have shown that saturated fat doesn't doesn't support heart disease. If anything, if you're an athlete, if you're active, fat in your diet is not such a bad thing. It's very satisfying. It helps you to stymie your cravings. Believe it or not, all hormones come from fat. So you think of now we're talking about low testosterone and estrogen and progesterone and people having issues with cortisol. Hey, fat is the precursor. Cholesterol is a precursor for cortisol and all the other hormones. So if someone's in a high stress industry like dentistry or a podcaster or a dad or a mom, busy professional, you want lots of cortisol. Guess what? The body makes all the cholesterol, and 80% of it's made in the liver. So 80% of anyone's cholesterol score is made in the liver. So if someone has poor stress management strategies, your body demands cholesterol to be made. But that being said, though, if you want to have testosterone, guess what? The body has a default to make cortisol. So if you're angry all the time, you're irritated, frustrated, annoyed, what happens is the body, hey, I'm not going to make testosterone and growth hormone. I'm going to have you make cortisol because that's life or death. I got to keep you alive right now. Some people's alive right now never ends. Constant state of annoyance. I read their posts on Facebook. Can't believe how this is. Look at the lady over here. Look at the lady with the bare feet on the plane. I don't know. Are you going to try and change people's behavior on the plane? Are you going to do a healing in business class? Leave them alone. I have no need to change anyone's fate in row 17. They want to be barefoot. Who cares?
Yeah.
So that water off a duck's back is definitely something my mom taught me. That whole serenity prayer. Grant me the wisdom to act on the things I can act on, and the ability to leave the things I can't work on and leave them out of my mind. Much more peaceful way to go. So I can spend all my psychic energy healing, restoring, wisdom, consolidating memory, processing emotion, being present for my colleagues and friends and family.
Yeah, that prayer is one of the most important prayers I've ever learned. The third component of it is like the wisdom, just to know the difference. That's the hardest part. Like there are things I know I can and things I can't, and just understanding the difference is a key piece. But you're exactly right. It is life helping when you can work it. Now, we're going to go into the dentistry component of all this. Number 9, patients. They don't want to hear us talk about total health. True or false?
Yeah, no, they're starving. The patients are starving for any provider to dot the I's and cross the T's and put it all together. Right. When you think about this, 12 specialties in dentistry, 12. Medicine has the same amount of specialties or more. Everyone works in their own silo. I'm a prosthodontist. I'm a periodontist. I'm an endocrinologist. I'm a hygienist. And so everyone goes to this specialty. No one actually sees the big picture. So patients are lost. We're actually fatter. We have more diabetes now in North America than ever. 30 million diabetics in America, 70 million pre-diabetic. So out of the 330 million Americans, 100 million are pre-diabetic or diabetic. This is an inflammatory condition. Definitely has a spillover effect into the oral space. So they need guidance. It's not working. We're getting fatter. We're getting more insulin resistant. So whatever is happening is not working. We need a healthcare provider, an industry to take charge. So as the hygienist, you're in charge of the wellness field. Start talking health. Have a favorite health book. Quote a journal.
Yeah.
And do it in a non-judgmental way. Patients are starving for people who are enthusiastic and convinced about the gateway starting here. The gateway to health starts here. And we're the only healthcare provider that's in charge of the gateway. Yeah. Endocrinologists aren't. Doctors aren't. We are, like the dental industry.
Yeah, so I think you and I chatted about this before, but my wife and I went to the Cooper Clinic in Texas. It was awesome, and I got to meet both of the Coopers. And one thing that he said, tell me if you agree with this, he said 70% of a human being's health is what happens in the hole under their nose. Would you agree with that?
Wow. I could agree. I guess the percentage could vary by 5, 10, depending on who you are. But when you think of the body that you have, or I'm thinking of the body I have, or my neck, or my elbow, or my meniscus, or my foot, everything who I am is from what goes into my mouth. Nothing comes from inspiration. I can meditate, I can levitate, but guess what? It's what's through here. So people curse their butt, but they nourish the Pop-Tart.
Mm.
People hate their belly hanging over their belt, but they're going through the airport at all the fast food areas instead of going to the lounge or going to Starbucks and grabbing the fruit or grabbing the salad. So this mouth lies the key to how good you look. It's impossible to be out of shape and eat healthy.
Yeah.
It's impossible to be out of shape. So again, no judgment here. But if someone is literally not in a healthy condition, if you're not looking at your diet, you're fooling yourself because you can't get out of shape eating salads, hormone-free, grass-fed free meat, whole grains, fruit, and good quality meat. It's impossible. So when someone says, "Yeah, I've tried everything," have you tried not going through the fast food outlets? Have you tried not eating as much candy corn? So. Literally, we hate the result, but we nourish the cause, and it's through this channel right here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And then the last one, this is kind of controversial. I love that you put it on here. I'm not in shape, Uche, so I can't talk wellness with patients. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, I put something in to stir the pot. I think as long as you're on your own journey, you don't have to look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to talk nutrition. You don't have to look like Ty Bo does to talk whole body health. Bill Dorfman is like this, in his 60s, looks incredible shape. You think, yeah, as soon as I get a 6-pack or an 8-pack like Dr. Dorfman, I can stop. No, many patients are struggling. As healthcare providers, we know the terminology. We studied it. We take 20 to 30 hours of nutrition in college. However, we think until I know it all, I'm not going to share it. Well, even the experts don't know it all. That's why if you put 10 nutritionists on a panel and said, what's the best diet? We'd all fight over the strange little esoteric threads of differences. But I think once you've started your own journey, that is a vulnerable place to be. Yeah. When patients say, you ask someone any changes in medical history or what's going on in your life right now is a better question to ask. They'll say, I just came out the doctor. He said, I need to lose a little bit of weight. Oh, me too. Everyone's had a challenge after the pandemic. But here's what I'm doing. Now you got a connection. I think people connect more with your struggle than your success. If you say, take off my figs. Look at this. That doesn't build connection. It builds a minor annoyance. Okay.
Right.
But you act vulnerable and say, man, it's been tough for me too. I've gotten a little softer. Those pandemic pounds are tough to come off. Patients look at you for the first time and go, Doc, me too. What are you doing? Well, I read this book called Diet Myth by Tim Spector. And I read this really good book by, Doc, I love reading. What's the book? I listen to them on my phone. And now I'm showing them, they're doing a screenshot of my book. Now I'm in the middle of a new patient exam or in the middle of waiting for anesthetic to work. It's amazing how you can make an impact in a real-time conversation, being vulnerable and connecting with people. So you don't have to be in great shape to talk fitness. You can be in your own struggle. But in that struggle, though, vulnerability creates connection.
Yeah.
Like Brene Brown talks about, yeah.
I love it. I love it. Uche, you're the best. I just really, really appreciate this. Every single time you come on, you give me something to think about. And I hope as a listener, you're applying some of these things to make your practice, your life, and just make you feel better. So, because the reality of this profession, Uche, is I think a lot of people don't bargain for how physically and emotionally demanding it is. And so having some countermeasures in place are important, don't you think?
Yeah, be preventative. We all know prevention dentistry is cheap. Preemptive attack on your body is better than just waiting for things to fall apart. But I think if someone invests as heavily as they do in their body as they do in their office, it's amazing how good that body can look and feel. And it's not just about looks. I'm talking about feeling and being free of disease and free of a list of meds. That investment in health is no better. And Tom Brady, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and LeBron James, they all talk about the investment, like monetarily and time, to enjoy. And people say, "Wow, you're so lucky. You just see me late at night when I'm at a 20-minute workout in a Hilton gym. Yeah, I'm so lucky." So to show people vulnerability, to work at it when people are not working at it, and be open, be a student. This is the way to get fit and stay fit.
I love it. I love it. Uche, I want people to find out more about what you do and how they can get involved. But any last thoughts on breaking these fitness myths before we do?
I think a big part is feeling I deserve it. I think a lot of people, a lot of talk now about childhood trauma and people growing up in dysfunctional homes. They say dysfunctional homes is actually the norm. Like, not everyone's voice is heard. And people grow up with childhood trauma and adverse childhood events. And the more adverse childhood events you have, the more challenging it is to ask for what you want as an adult. and think I deserve more. No one's going to listen to me. Do I matter? A dad who puts himself last, or the mother who puts herself last behind the kids and the house and the practice. I think feeling you deserve health and realizing a strong mom is a good mom. A strong dad is a good dad. A strong female or male dentist is a better dentist because you're better able to weather the storms of the emotional journey that dentistry takes you on every day, week after week, month after month.
I love it. We got to have a regular Uche investment in our health every single month. I'm going to make sure that you show up as a regular guest here all the time because you make my life better, and I know a lot of people that are listening, their lives better. So I'm just going to say this. If you guys have never had Uche come to your study club, my first thought is, what in the world are you thinking? Like, you got to have Uche. So Uche, if I'm listening, how do I find out more about what you're doing? How do I get you to speak to my club? How do I get involved with what you're doing?
Well, the best thing is to reach out. I'm very active on Instagram. If you look up my first and last name on Instagram, you'll find me. My account is actually Fit Speakers, so Fit Speakers. But that being said, I answer all direct messages. People email me. I'm available. If you literally Google Uche, Uche, fitness dentist, I'm the only guy. Also, I'm the only guy. Like, you'll find a phone number, you'll find an email, and let's start the process talking. Full days are my passion, 6 hours. But I kick butt on a 60-minute keynote. I can move 2,000 people into action in 60 minutes, but nothing like a study club for a day to really go deep into wellness and the mouth-body connection, the oral systemic link. Ergonomics, like I'm a walking, talking testament to stretching and having a balanced program. So 6 hours, love it for study club. Hour keynote, I can totally do that too. So.
Yeah, and I say this all the time. You've heard me say it a million times. Like, my team, when I bring them places, they're like, we're going to go watch Uche. And I'm like, you're not going to stay in my room? Nope, we go see Uche. And I'm like, you should. So, Uche, thanks for being on, brother. I appreciate you.
Hey, pleasure. I know, hey, you can only admire things in me that you have in you. So everything that you talk about me is literally a reflection of what's going back on at you. So testament to your enthusiasm and insights, Kirk.
You're way too kind, brother. You're way too kind. Well, stick around and say goodbye to everybody else. But thank you guys for listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. Hey, if you enjoyed today, do me a huge favor. Hit the share button. Share this with your friends because we love that you're spreading the word. And share this with your friends because we love this great profession. I'm going to have Uche back again and again and again. Send me some questions so I can dish them to the expert and you guys can learn from him. So I'm just super, super grateful. So thank you guys for all the listens, the shares, everything. And until we see you guys next time, or you hear from us next time, keep watching or keep listening to the Best Practices Show podcast. You guys enjoy your day.